Assalamu alaikum. This article talk about the final endolytic irrigation with a 70% ethanol enhanced calcium hydroxide removal from apical third. This article done by Luis Carlos et al. In 2021 in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. In the beginning, they state the problem that incomplete removal of the calcium hydroxide or remnant of calcium hydroxide can influence the sealing ability of the root canal sealing and also the leakage of the root canal filling over the time, because calcium hydroxide they mention instability and solubility, and the aim of the study was to use confocal laser scan microscope to evaluate the cleanness of the root canal wall perimeter and intended tubule depth after attempting to remove the calcium hydroxide dressing with a 2.5% sodium hypochlorite, 70% EDTA, and 37% phosphoric acid, and 70% ethanol. Moreover, the use of the non-activated irrigation was compared with the use passive ultrasonic irrigation in this outcome. According to the methodology, there is 80 extracted human single-rooted teeth with the complete root formation. And these teeth was randomly assigned to 80 groups. Each group have 10 samples. According to the preparation of the sample, that have the crown of the teeth was sectioned at 15 millimeter from the apex to standardize the length, and the instrumentation with the proto paper universal rotary instrument, and the irrigation with 2.5 sodium hypochlorite. To use 30 gauge irrigation needle, followed by 17% EDTA, and after irrigation they dry it, and after drying they filled with calcium hydroxide mixed with propylene glycol and 0.1% bromidine B dye, and placed with the lentil spiral 3 mm from working length, and 2 radiograph mesodistal bilingually was taken to ensure complete filling of the canal with the calcium hydroxide, then sealed with the cotton and temporary restoration, and stored for 7 days. After 7 days, the canal was opened to remove the intracanal dressing with the 10 mm of saline and instrumentation with the master apical file. These 80 groups have 4 solutions and 2 different methods of irrigation. So each 2 group have 1 solution and 2 different methods of irrigation. The overall time of contact of irrigation inside the canal wall will be 3 minutes, except phosphoric acid will be 1.5 minutes. Then a final rinse with the 5 ml of saline. The confocal laser scan was used to measure the percentage of the clean root canal wall and the depth of the canal, the entire tubule. According to the result, there is none of the experiment protocol totally removal of the intercanal molecule of calcium hydroxide, and regarding to the irrigation method, there is no difference was found between non-activation and activation of the tested solution. And regarding of the irrigation solution, 70% ethanol presented at a significantly higher percentage of clean root canal wall compared with the other irrigation, except the phosphoric acid, and also the depth of cleanness in the dentinal tubule is the same. The 70% of ethanol have a higher percentage of cleanness. But there is no difference between 70% and 30 of ethanol and 37% of phosphoric acid, and you can see in the figure about in the image A that have how the removal of the calcium hydroxide from the wall, and in the figure in the image of B, the depth of the irrigation and cleanness the dentinal tubule. And also in the other image about the difference between activation and non-activation, which is the first row there is without activation, and the second row with activation, and the D and H will be the ethanol, and C and G will be the phosphoric acid. There is no significant difference. The critique of this article that there is no difference between activation without activation, but in other study, a systemic review that the use of passive ultrasonic activation or irrigation is significantly improve the calcium hydroxide removal. but the high volume of irrigation provide a better reduction of the residual calcium hydroxide basin regarding the solution activation. In summary, the present study demonstrates 70% ethanol enhanced calcium hydroxide removal from apical root canal third compared with the sodium hypochlorite in editor, and the irrigation of the 37% phosphoric acid show comparable calcium hydroxide removal in all tested crop. And they, in this study, suggested further studies should be conducted to investigate the cellular penetration and tooth bound and bound strength of the sealer to the root canal filling after calcium hydroxide medicament removal with the ethanol and biocompatibility of this irrigation to establish a real advantage. And thank you.